the newspaper fantasy, Don Brisbane.
All right, I brought along a number of old newspapers. Let's take a look at the table of contents. There we are, that's the table. Now let's take a look at the contents. Good share of all that's printed ends up in the wastebasket. There's the wastebasket. Oh, in their entertainment section, they're always talking about this star and that star and all the other big stars. Perhaps you'd like to see who really is the big star right now. Easy to do. One straight cut. Here we have the big star. Another straight cut, I'll show you the man in the moon. One straight cut. There's the moon, not quite full yet, and the man in the moon. And the moon's companion, the evening star. You read in the paper the other night about a certain Captain Nye who sailed out to sea one stormy, windy night. A mighty gale was blowing that night. The boat tossed and turned. The bow broke right off. The stern ripped right down to the keel. The wheelhouse, torn from the deck, followed the rest of the boat to the bottom of the sea. Captain Nye managed to find his way back to shore that night. The only thing he had left was the shirt upon his back. Then there was a story about the Pope. Seems the Pope made a visit to a Sunday school class and was talking about reading the good book and living the good life in order to ensure an entrance into paradise, when a third grader raised her hand and said, and I quote, "My dad has a good book, and he reads it all the time. And it came to the paradise." Lately, the papers have been featuring articles on the intelligence of animals. Soon in my act, I intend to feature my little dog. Oh, he's very intelligent. In fact, I'm teaching him how to read. Yes, soon he'll be able to read all the great classics, such as Lassie Come Home, It's a Dog's Life, and Cat Up a Tree. Yes, soon he'll be able to read all these great classics. Right now, I'm training him on newspaper. Oh, that's an old joke. But then I use old newspapers. As far as that goes, he's getting to be a pretty old dog. All right, here we have a hat appropriate for a lecturer of my caliber. Now, as long as we're on the subject of education, I thought I'd show you some little pigs like you studied in kindergarten. You remember little pig that went to market, little pig that stayed home, all the other little wee pigs. And of course there was a big bad wolf who huffed and puffed and blew the house down. Little cut here, little cut there, everywhere a little cut. Little piggy here, little piggy there, everywhere a little piggy. And here indeed we do have a delightful assortment of little paper pigs. Oh, well, maybe they don't look much like little paper pigs up here in the air. Down here on the floor, they certainly do make a convincing litter. Moving right along, opening up the spare rib, we have a ship's wheel and an admiral's hat. An admiral's hat not unlike that worn by John Paul Jones, a famous naughty hero, or nautical hero, nautical but nice. Perhaps you recall his famous last words: "Don't give up the ship, sell it." You don't remember. Very hysterical, or historical. Now, some of you may think it a bit odd for someone to wear a paper hat in a public place. I can assure you, it's not at all odd. Some of the very best people wear paper hats in public places. No one ever questions me when I wear mine. Sometimes they do question, though, when I make paper dolls in public places. That they wonder about. I saw a dandy the other day, standing on the corner, watching the girls go by. He was so nervous, he had to hide behind a piece of newspaper. After a while, though, he took out a pair of scissors and cut a large, round hole right through the very center of the newspaper, through which to watch the girls go by. Watch the girls go by? A large, round hole? The center of a piece of newspaper? Well, how square can you get? All right, for our next venture, we go south of the border. I've been studying Mexican culture, and especially Mexican food, you know, like tamales and enchiladas. Right now I'm going to show you the grain plant that all these good things are made of. There we are. You all know what that is, don't you? You don't know what that is? Well, it's corn. It's corn. Perhaps you didn't recognize it because corn doesn't grow very tall in Mexico. I guess we'll just have to come back to this side of the border. All right. Now for tall Texan corn. Thank you and good night.